Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we check in with the Finance Department. My guest today is Duane Pitcher, Finance Director with the City of Ames. Duane, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Susan. Good to be here.
So, Duane, you've been the Finance Director for quite a few years at the City of Ames. What brought you to the city?
Well, I've been here for about 16 years now, Susan, actually a little bit more than that. Prior to that, I was the Finance Director in Dubuque, and I'm an Iowa State grad. I really like this area. I like the school system, the city. Things went well at the city. I knew the prior Finance Director. So when she retired and the job became open, I applied for it and was very happy to move here.
So Finance Director for the City of Ames is rather broad. You have lots of things under your supervision. What are some of those other areas of focus?
Well, the finance area includes all the accounting, the regular things, payroll, accounts payable, accounts receivable, the financial reporting. We also include purchasing department, messenger and print shop, information technology, and then another area under finance is budgeting, which is an area that's coming up that's going to be pretty busy. It actually already is right now.
So this is a very busy time of year for you. This is when we get moving on the fiscal budget for 2017-2018.
That's right. Seems like a long way off, but it's coming up pretty quick for us. We're actually starting on that right now for our internal departments that charge out to other departments that more directly provide public service. We're already working on those budgets, and we need to have this all done by March of next year, of 2017, for the fiscal year 2017-18 budget, which starts July 1st.
Yeah, that is important to remember that our fiscal year does run from July 1st to June 30th, but we do get it going quite a bit in advance in order to really put together the most comprehensive, most cost-effective, most closely researched budget possible.
Yes, that's an area we really work on. And obviously there's some lead time too. We set fees, we set taxes, and we need to do that well in advance of when those start. So for example, if we're going to change utility rates, we need to make sure that people know well in advance of when those go into place so they can make changes if they want to. For the property tax rates, those need to be over to the county and to the state so they can do all the things to send out notices to people. So there's a cutoff that's well prior to when the year starts, and we have a lot of departments, a lot of areas, a lot of things to work on, so it requires an early start to get through all the details so we can pull together the big picture.
And there actually is a state deadline for budget certification, so when is that date?
That is mid-March, the 15th of March, for the year that starts July 1st.
So we have a hard deadline we have to meet, as well as giving people ample opportunity to participate in the process. Getting resident participation isn't easy. The budget is huge and complicated, and sometimes people don't really understand how it really impacts them directly.
Yeah, and that's why we try to break it down. For example, in the capital improvement plan, that's by individual project. So if you're interested in your street, for example, you can look through that plan and see when your street comes up. And in fact, we link it to a map out on our website. So if your area, you're interested in stormwater in your area, or you may be interested in rec programs that require some facilities, you can see all those things in the capital improvement plan. So some people may be interested in the entire plan, so we bring that together and summarize it. And same thing with the rest of the operating budget. It's all broken down into the different areas. And we do work to get input on that. In fact, we've got an input session coming up here in a couple weeks.
So the whole process really kicks off for the public's perspective with the town budget meeting.
That's right. That's coming up October 4th. And at that point, we really have not done much on the budget as far as the areas that deliver service. So that's the opportunity for the public to provide input that we consolidate, summarize together, and then pass on to the City Council in November. So when we get our directions from them on the services and costs and things that they want delivered for the public, we have that input already.
Now you mentioned about the CIP. Again, that budget is separate than the operating budget. These are both pretty huge documents. They are available if somebody wants to take a look at them on our website, at the library. Do people actually ask you questions specifically about the budget?
They do, yeah. There's especially about the the very specific projects, and a lot of times if they want details of the project, we'll refer them to a department that's actually delivering that project, because if they want more details on what it may entail, they would need to get that from the department. But the CIP is a plan. It's a 5-year plan. The first year gets rolled into the budget, and that will actually be adopted for spending authority. But it is a fairly large project or document that does look out for a fairly long period of time. Now, we do make kind of rough plans even further out than that, but we do have a good, strong plan for out 5 years.
And the actual budget itself, I always, as you know, I do a lot of school tours, and I always tell kids, it's about the size of your dictionary back at school. It's a lengthy document.
It is a fairly lengthy document, but we do index it out on the website, so if there's certain things you want to look at, you can just click on those index links and go there. And we have summaries in the front, summaries in the back, and then all the detail that makes those up in the meat of the document.
Well, I may be biased, but I find that our budget is particularly well done. It's,
well, thanks.
It's nicely put together, and in particular the budget in brief and the summary at the beginning, really helpful information for somebody who just wanted to get a glimpse of what the document was about.
Well, thanks. And we're reworking that budget and brief document, and that's one that you would work with. And it's a good one for people to look at because it does kind of pull together the information in a little bit smaller format. And then if you find something that you want more detail on, you can call us. You can go to the budget document, which is online. If you just have questions about how to search it or where things are, how it's put together, we do have that explanation within the document, but you can always contact one of us if you need some help with that.
So again, the first opportunity for public input is October 4th coming up, that town budget meeting. And then quick, what's the rest of the schedule like?
Yeah, so that's when we get the first kind of just open input. And then we're in the process of putting the budget together. And we'll get some information on current financials, how we're doing, some projections for revenues in the future year. And then we'll put together that information. We'll take it to the council on the 22nd of November. And with that and other discussions, they'll give some directions back to us and the city manager on how to go forward with our budget. Then the next time that we would meet with the public is on the 24th of January. On the 17th, we'd actually present the capital improvement plan to the council. That one's just to present the plan, and obviously the public can be there to watch it. But on the very next week, on the 24th, we'll hold a public hearing on that plan. And people can give their input on, basics of the document. It's too much, not enough. I want a project moved up or moved back, and that's where they'll take that individual input. And then we'll go through the entire budget with the council on the 3rd of February. That's not a public input time, but it's certainly a televised, open to the public. But that's a session on a Friday afternoon where I spend most of the afternoon going through big picture, but there's a lot of information to go over on how we're doing on the budget, and it's kind of a preview of what they're going to see the following week. And in that area, we do a council review on 3 different nights. That'll be the 7th, 8th, and 9th of February, and that's where that hearing continues, or it's a public hearing. And then we'll do a wrap up on the 14th, which is the following Tuesday. And in that area, they'll take additional input, and that's when council makes the decisions, because we need to publish notice for the public on where the budget's going to be. Then we'll hold the final hearing on March 7th. At that point, we've published notice, we've said what rates are going to be. The council can only make decisions that would then reduce the budget. They can't increase it at that point, or we would need to publish again, and with the 15th deadline, we can't get that done.
All that wrapped up into that March 15th deadline.
Yes.
So you really have some busy weeks ahead of you.
We do. We have it all laid out, but we've done this a few times before, and we'll get through it all and have a good product again.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Duane, for stopping by.
Well, thanks, Susan.
Again, if you want to see those budget documents, you can find them on our website at cityofames.org/finance. Also, just an item for your calendar, remember trick-or-treating is coming up. That will be held in Ames on Monday, October 31st, with recommended hours from 5:30 to 7:30. Well, that's our show today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.